Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to My Deep Guide, and in today's video we're again addressing the Remarkable Paper Pro, except that in this video I wanted to share with you my own thoughts and my own experience by spending 3.5 weeks of using the Remarkable Paper Pro exclusively as the only e-ink device that I used for that period of time. So that gave me quite a bit of insight into the device itself, the platform, what it can offer, the pros and cons. But in this video, this is going to be from a subjective perspective and frame of mind. So the previous first impressions, that's a mixture of objective and subjective. The in-depth review, I've tried my best to keep it as objective as possible and just keep the subjective stuff as out of it as I can, because I knew that I wanted to do a dedicated video of just my own thoughts about the Remarkable Paper Pro. So let's begin. And let's start with the overall impression and basically a summary of the device, how I would summarize Remarkable Paper Pro. Well, for me, I think that this is not an all-rounder, absolutely not an all-rounder. And the first thing that you need to know is that this is a device that is well suited for a couple of things. It is excellent for note-taking, it is very good for journaling and use of planners like the MDO and MMP that you can find on mydeepguide.com/shop, and light document reading and annotations. So this is not an e-ink tablet or a tablet that happens to have a color e-ink display. No, as its name clearly says, this is a color paper tablet, and as such you have to keep in mind that it has severe hardware and platform related limitations. For example, no Bluetooth easily accessible without actually hacking your device, no browser, etc, etc. And if you try to force it into a regular tablet category, those limitations are basically gonna come into the forefront. What you need to kind of keep in mind is that this device needs to be viewed as what it is, which is a color paper tablet primarily meant for writing. And as such, it offers certain aspects that are simply unmatched on the market today. Which would those be? Well, the color canvas display is a significant technological achievement that you will not be able to find on any other device anytime soon. Then we have the fastest writing latency of any device currently available out there at 13 milliseconds. We have the excellent writing feel while gliding on the surface of the screen, so only that aspect of writing. And we also have the significantly improved rendering of the written content when compared to the Remarkable 2. However, even if you take the severe hardware and platform limitations into consideration, Remarkable Paper Pro has certain issues that will definitely not make it a good fit for everyone. And the most important aspects are: screen refresh flickering is the leitmotif of the Remarkable Paper Pro. Hardness of the nib and the screen, at least in my opinion, and in my experience, they lead to a distracting and off-putting sensation every time the pen makes the initial contact with the screen, which is constantly when you're writing. Lack of the most basic user customization options of the platform. Basically, I see Remarkable Paper Pro as a device that is like a definition of ambivalence. On the one hand, it has aspects that are absolutely phenomenal, while simultaneously having equally strong aspects that are very off-putting. I honestly don't think that I have ever experienced a more ambivalent device than the Remarkable Paper Pro. So what are the things that I like about the Remarkable Paper Pro? Well, number one, I really love the 11.8-inch format. This is something that I've talked about in the in-depth review, and I find it that it's a sweet spot between the 10.3 and the 13.3-inch format, and it's something that's really, really good. Wake on pen detachment, Absolutely loved that feature, and this is something that I do miss on a day-to-day basis when I'm using another device. Strong pen magnet, again, may seem like a small thing, but it actually is a really good and important aspect of a device on a day-to-day basis, that you don't have to fiddle around, or where's the pen, how's the pen, blah blah blah. No, you just put it roughly there and the magnets do the work. Writing feel while in contact with the screen surface, absolutely loved that. Writing quality and precision considerably improved than what we had in Remarkable 2, and I loved that as well. Color highlighting and markup of documents with the color rendering of the color canvas display, it actually was a very satisfying experience. Color content display quality and character of the colors, especially in documents, that's something that I really did like, even though in my daily use case scenarios I rarely depend or care about the colors. So that felt like, oh, there's this huge aspect of the device that I know that it can do, but I simply don't use it, nor do I need it. So it felt like I'm missing out on an important content or part of the device. So I would just purposefully open up a color document just to enjoy the colors. But you know, that's... And finally, I love the flip cover, the folio design and quality. The non-leather one, the one that resembles the fabric, that one is really nice. And also, I really love the build quality and the device design. Despite it being very minimal, I do actually like it quite a lot. What are things that I didn't like about the Remarkable Paper Pro in my time when I was using it? Well, first and foremost, it has to be the hardness and the tactile feel of the first contact of the pen with the screen. That is something that I was not able to get used to and was a significant point of distraction and contention. Second point would be inconsistent performance and frequent sluggishness of the platform. Pale rendering of finer content like template lines or something like that, be it notebooks or documents, genuinely made it difficult to read and see content of the device in more than a fair amount of situations. The overall lockdown nature of the entire platform with artificial limitations that are forcefully imposed on the user, for me personally, that is inexcusable, because that was a major point of constant, it's a tripping point, it's a point of distraction, it's a point that basically pushes me off from the entire user experience. The inconsistent refresh time, depending on the content, right? So some type of content is great, some type of content is going to be more sluggish. Especially in notebooks, for me that was very distracting, and it frequently broke my concentration. So even if I'm trying to just simply quickly flip back to an earlier page in a notebook to check something, I would get distracted by the flickering, by the inconsistent waiting times and things like that, and it just would very quickly become a chore to look something up that I've previously wrote in the notebook. The distracting stumbling points in interaction with the device, for example, extended document margins, or the option to not use the scrolling notebook pages. I mean, it's totally fine if you want to use it, but there should be the most basic of the basic things, which is, do you want to make a scrollable notebook or not, for different types of situations? Because the palm rejection and all of that kind of stuff, it's not good enough to guarantee 100% of non-interaction or non-accidental interaction with the device. And when it does happen, and it did happen on a daily basis several times a day, be it in documents or in notebooks, those were a constant point of significant distraction and frustration. Alright, so what about the color aspect of the Remarkable Paper Pro? Because that is a big point, right? I love the color content and the character of the colors that are displayed, especially when reading documents. I honestly wanted to use the colors in notebooks because I've encountered several situations where I genuinely could benefit from using them, especially in different layers. Unfortunately, after quite a few attempts, I stopped trying to do that and refrained from using it for two main reasons. Number one, delayed and flickering nature of how the color content is being handled in notebooks. It was distracting and it caused my focus to start fading on a regular basis. Number two, notebook navigation performance is severely hindered when having color content on a page. So this resulted in me actively avoiding to use the colors in notebooks even when I wanted to, because I learned from experience that if I do resort to using them in notebooks, I will have these two significant issues to deal with, and the convenience of having colors was simply not worth the compromise required by the device and the platform. Okay, what about the flickering when refreshing and all that kind of stuff? Well, it's there. Flickering is present at all times on the Remarkable Paper Pro when you interact with it. In reading related tasks, I really didn't mind it at all, and in certain situations I've actually found the screen refresh methodology to be quite pleasant when flipping pages of a text-based document, but to be honest, that's an example when you don't have any type of flickering, so yeah. I've also found that the refresh flickering to be a perfectly acceptable compromise for color content delivered in graphics-rich documents or certain magazines or comic books. However, in notebooks, it was the complete opposite. As I already mentioned in the previous chapter, I found the flickering nature of displaying colors in notebooks to be a significant distraction and a compromise that I was not willing to accept in order to have the convenience of colors in my notebooks. So I keep talking about my own needs and things like that. So what are my needs work-wise of an e-ink device in my established workflow? Well, when working with a device for e-ink based tasks, I need it to be reliable, out of the way, consistent, having linking functionality, and have the option to easily find or reference past content. So, how did the Remarkable Paper Pro fit into that aspect? Could I use it for my work needs? If I had to, I would be able to use the Remarkable Paper Pro as the only e-ink device in my work and journaling needs. Absolutely, I would be able to do that. However, I would have a big problem of not being able to easily find past content, and that's something that would basically loom over my head constantly as I work, and I know that because it did over these 3 weeks. As I was writing and piling up content and things like that, it just kept being like, oh, how do I organize this? What do I do with this so that I can actually easily find it? And no, tags are not good enough for that kind of stuff. I'm talking about specific linking, a specific page to a document or to another notebook and things like that. Once you get used to that kind of workflow, going away from it is a significant step back. So I could use Remarkable Paper Pro with some compromises for my work. Would I choose to use it? Well, I would really want to be able to use Remarkable Paper Pro for my e-ink work-related tasks for a couple of very specific reasons. Number one, that 11.8-inch screen format, I loved it. The Wake-on pen pickup, loved that as well. And the writing feel of the pen when in contact with the surface is actually addicting how pleasant that aspect of writing is. Unfortunately, I don't think that I would be able to use it as my only device because of the following. The hardness of the initial pen to screen contact when writing, not something I was able to get used to. Inability to easily find what I'm looking for in past written content, significant hurdle. And extreme limitations artificially imposed on the user by the lockdown nature of the platform, not something that I can or want to get used to. Alright, so that's where I stand, and that's my standpoint regarding the Remarkable Paper Pro and my own experience. So then there comes the question of, is the Remarkable Paper Pro the right product for you? And honestly, this is a very difficult question to answer, but let's try and branch it down with a series of if-thens. So, In order to even start considering the Remarkable Paper Pro, you need to ask yourself if the flickering nature of the screen refresh is something that you are okay with or not. If yes, then you proceed, and then you need to see if you're able to get used to the hardness of the initial pen-to-screen contact when writing. If you're still okay and on board with this, so if yes, then you need to ask yourself, what would you use this device primarily for? If it is anything other than writing, documents reading in markup, or use with the hyperlinked planners, such as the MDO and MMP, and journaling, then you need to look elsewhere, because this device is good or primarily for these three types of workloads, functionalities, however you want to call them. If this fits your use needs, then you need to also ask yourself one more question, which is, do you rely on colors? So if you manage to get all the way down to this last branch by answering yes and that it actually fits your needs, then yeah, Remarkable Paper Pro is most likely a device that will be a good fit for you. Hopefully, what I've tried with this video is to help you gain some more insights into what the Remarkable Paper Pro is and what it is not as a device. What are your opinions about the Remarkable Paper Pro, whether from personally trying it out or for viewing these reviews from mydeepguide and from other channels and just getting your information about the Remarkable Paper Pro? Is this something that fits your needs? Is this something that fits your wants? What's the stronger aspect of it for you? Is it more need than a want, more want than a need? Because I do get an impression by some questions that quite a lot of users who've adopted Remarkable Paper Pro and who are fans of the Remarkable and went from Remarkable 2 and automatically jumped on board the Remarkable Paper Pro, they got excited with the colors, which is understandable because the color aspect of it is genuinely good. However, I don't think the majority of users actually know why they wanted color, or do they need them, or do they want them at all. So my question would be, for you as a Remarkable Paper Pro user, and if you adopted it from Remarkable 2, try and take a deep, honest, very, very honest look with yourself and let us know in the comments down below if the color aspect of the Remarkable Paper Pro, do you think that that aspect is something that fits the Remarkable ecosystem and workflow and the limitations in a good way? Is it something that was lacking or not? I'm genuinely interested to hear what the real-world user's experience is on this, because my own experience is that I really am enamored by the color content, but I don't really have the need to use it at all. And when I did, for example in notebooks, I was hindered by the platform limitations. So I'm really genuinely interested to hear what is your take and what is your opinion on using the Remarkable Paper Pro as a color tablet. That's it from me. I hope that you found the video interesting and or inspiring or insightful. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell to get notified when new videos come out on mydeepguide. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!